It all started with a whisper, a rumor that few dared to speak aloud. Meghan Markle, a name that conjures images of royalty, glamour, and the carefully curated life of a duchess, was hiding a secret. Not the kind whispered about in tabloids or social media threads. No, this was something much more tantalizing, something the elite circles she frequented knew all along. It was a lifestyle hidden from the public eye, a side of Meghan that defied the polished image the world had been fed for years. And the proof? Christopher Jones, the so-called yacht boy, had it. He claimed to have evidence so indisputable, so concrete, that it would forever alter the narrative of Meghan Markle, the woman the world thought it knew. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to glimpse behind the curtain of a life so carefully constructed that every detail is scrutinized, every move calculated? Imagine stepping onto the deck of a luxury yacht, the sun reflecting off the crystal-clear waters of the Adriatic Sea, and suddenly realizing that one of the most famous women in the world is right there, laughing, mingling, living in a way that defies every stereotype. That's what Christopher Jones said he experienced, and what he promised to reveal was nothing short of explosive. But the question lingered. Why now? Why would he, an insider who had largely remained in the shadows, decide to lift the veil on Meghan's private escapades? And more importantly, why should anyone believe him? The story begins not with Meghan herself, but with a yacht, a floating palace of extravagance, a symbol of freedom, and a playground for the ultra-wealthy. For those unfamiliar with the lifestyle, a luxury yacht is more than a boat. It is a statement, a social arena where connections are made, alliances are tested, and secrets are whispered into the wind. And according to Christopher Jones, Meghan Markle was not just a visitor to this world. She was a participant, a yacht girl in every sense of the term. The term itself may sound playful, almost whimsical, but it carries weight. It suggests a lifestyle of opulence, of immersion in a social scene far removed from the carefully curated appearances of royalty. And the most shocking part? Meghan didn't just dip a toe into this world. She plunged in fully, attending events like the renowned Croatia Yacht Week, rubbing elbows with high-profile figures, and living moments that, until now, the public could only imagine. But let's pause for a moment. Before you dismiss this as another celebrity rumor, consider the source. Christopher Jones is not just any socialite or anonymous blogger. He is a man who has spent years navigating the world of luxury yachts, gaining access to spaces where cameras rarely penetrate and where the elite reveal themselves without pretense. He has shared encounters with billionaires, celebrities, and influencers who understand the rules of this world intimately. And yet, despite the exclusivity of his circle, he came forward with details that, according to him, no one outside could verify, until now. He spoke of photos, videos, and first-hand observations that left him in disbelief, moments that seemed almost cinematic in their drama, yet completely real. And all of it involved Meghan Markle. Christopher Jones's revelation is shocking not merely because of who Meghan is, but because of the implications. The public has long been fascinated with the dichotomy between her public persona and private reality. On one hand, she is the Duchess of Sussex, a figure constrained by royal protocol and global scrutiny. On the other, she is alleged to have fully embraced a world of luxury, spontaneity, and influence that operates outside the rigid boundaries of royalty. And if Jones's claims are true, they reveal a side of Meghan that challenges the very narrative of her life post-royal family. One that suggests freedom, indulgence, and the enjoyment of an elite social sphere that few even know exists. Imagine for a moment the scene in Croatia, the sun setting over the Adriatic, the water glowing in shades of orange and pink. Yachts of every size and design bob gently against the currents, each one a microcosm of the luxury lifestyle. On one of these yachts, according to Christopher Jones, Meghan Markle was spotted. Not in the formal attire we associate with royal engagements, but in casual, sunlit elegance, mingling with friends, laughing freely, and fully immersed in the culture of the yacht world. To the casual observer, she may have seemed like just another guest. But to insiders like Jones, every gesture, every laugh, every interaction was a window into a life the public had never truly seen. And for those who understood the rules of this elite social scene, the evidence was unmistakable. What makes this story even more compelling is the timing. Croatia Yacht Week is not merely a summer festival. It is a gathering of the social elite, a place where connections are formed and reputations are displayed with as much care as the yachts themselves. Attendance is limited, invitations are coveted, and every guest is aware of the social stakes. That Meghan Markle would participate, and more importantly, that she would be observed, recorded, and discussed by insiders, is remarkable. It signals not only her desire to experience life on her own terms, but also the inevitability of her world intersecting with those who thrive in spaces far removed from the royal spotlight. And Christopher Jones was there to witness it all. Now, you may be asking yourself, why does this matter? Meghan Markle's life has always been a point of fascination, but this isn't about gossip for gossip's sake. It's about understanding the complexities of a public figure whose every move is scrutinized, yet whose private choices reveal a freedom that many envy and some might resent. It's about examining how social spheres operate, how influence and access are earned, and how even those perceived as constrained by public roles can navigate these elite worlds with skill, strategy, and charm. And at the center of it all is Christopher Jones, whose accounts provide a lens into a hidden reality, one that challenges preconceived notions and invites the audience to question what they think they know. Throughout this video, you're going to see a side of Meghan Markle that most of the world has never imagined. You'll follow the trail of evidence laid out by Christopher Jones, piece by piece, photo by photo, encounter by encounter. You'll hear about yacht parties brimming with social tension, private interactions that reveal personality traits, and moments that illuminate the contradictions between public perception and private indulgence. And along the way, you'll be asked to consider your assumptions. What does it mean when someone you thought you knew participates fully in a world you barely understand? How does power, wealth, and freedom intersect in ways that surprise even insiders? But here's the catch. While Christopher Jones claims his proof is indisputable, there is always a question of perception. Even the most concrete evidence can be interpreted in multiple ways, especially when it involves someone as scrutinized as Meghan Markle. That's why this story is not just about observation. It's about interpretation, analysis, and revealing context that transforms isolated events into a coherent narrative. And the more you see, the more questions you'll have. Why Croatia? Why now? And perhaps most provocatively, what does it reveal about Meghan Markle that her carefully constructed public image has kept hidden for so long? And just when you think you've wrapped your mind around it, Christopher Jones delivers the part that truly shocks. Details of Meghan's interactions, moments so unexpected that they shift the narrative from mere luxury indulgence to a story of strategic social engagement, influence, and perhaps even manipulation of perception. These are the moments that will make you reconsider everything you thought you knew, the instances that blur the line between public persona and private reality, the flashes of a life lived fully, unconstrained, and unapologetically. And it's in these flashes, these seemingly fleeting glimpses, that the real story emerges, a story that is just beginning to be told. By the end of this video, you will not only understand why Christopher Jones calls Meghan Markle a yacht girl, but you will see the intricate dance between freedom, luxury, and visibility that defines her current life. You will witness a narrative of elegance, secrecy, and social mastery unfold before your eyes, guided by a man who claims to have seen it all firsthand. And yet, even as the pieces come together, the story will leave you with lingering questions, tantalizing mysteries. Who exactly is Christopher Jones? To most of the world, he is an enigmatic figure, a name that might float across social media threads or the margins of elite party gossip. But to those immersed in the world of luxury yachts, he is something else entirely. A man with access few could imagine, an insider who has navigated a labyrinth of exclusivity where wealth, power, and secrecy converge. And it was this insider perspective that made his revelations about Meghan Markle so compelling, so impossible to ignore. The first time Christopher Jones came to my attention was not through a tabloid or a flashy Instagram post. It was through whispers, quiet, incredulous stories shared by people who had seen him at yacht gatherings, people who trusted him because he did not chase the limelight. Unlike many socialites whose reputations are built on self-promotion, Jones operated in the shadows, documenting encounters with celebrities, royalty-adjacent figures, and influencers who considered him trustworthy enough to share details few others could. He had a reputation for discretion, a currency far more valuable in elite circles than the glitz and glamour most outsiders chase. But it was his claim about Meghan Markle that really shook people. According to Jones, Meghan was not just a participant in these luxury social scenes. She was fully immersed, moving through yacht gatherings as effortlessly as she did public appearances in the royal spotlight. And he didn't stop at broad strokes or vague anecdotes. He promised concrete, verifiable moments, interactions so precise, so vivid, that anyone paying attention would understand immediately. This was not rumor. This was observation. To understand the gravity of Jones's statements, one must first understand the world he inhabits. Luxury yachts are not just boats. They are floating kingdoms, microcosms of wealth and influence. Ownership of a yacht is not simply about leisure. It is a declaration of status, a key to access and alliances. Invitations to yacht events, especially gatherings like Croatia Yacht Week, are not extended lightly. They carry weight, social currency, and the expectation that each guest understands the unspoken rules, respect the hierarchy, honor the hosts, and conduct oneself with discretion. Misstep in this world, and reputation, hard-earned and fragile, can unravel in an instant. Jones's credibility stems from years of immersion in exactly this world. He knows the names, the yachts, the patterns of behavior that signal true insiders from casual observers. And when he says he saw Meghan Markle in this environment, he is not merely pointing out that a celebrity was present. He is asserting that she participated fully in a social ecosystem that requires awareness, confidence, and influence. She was not there as a spectator. She was there as an actor, fully engaged, fully recognized by others in her orbit. Imagine this: the sun glinting off the Adriatic Sea, dozens of yachts lined up in a silent, shimmering parade. Music drifts across the water, mingling with the laughter of those on deck. Every guest has a reputation to uphold. Every interaction carries subtle weight. And in the middle of it, Meghan Markle moves with grace, unencumbered by cameras or public expectation, interacting with confidence, signaling her understanding of this hidden world. According to Jones, watching her in this environment was a revelation. He described her demeanor as poised yet approachable, commanding yet relaxed. Someone who understood the unspoken rules of elite social interaction intuitively. Jones's storytelling is meticulous. He recounts moments in precise detail, from the yacht's names to the way guests greeted each other, from casual gestures to the subtleties of conversation. He described Meghan sharing laughs with other attendees, engaging in discussions that hinted at her strategic social awareness, and even participating in private games and challenges that most outsiders would never see. These were not idle anecdotes. They were vivid, sensory experiences that painted a picture of a woman operating at the intersection of freedom and influence. But why does this matter? Because it contradicts the carefully constructed public narrative. Meghan Markle, as portrayed by mainstream media, is often framed as constrained, cautious, almost calculated in her public appearances. Yet here was Christopher Jones, a credible observer, showing a side of her that defied those assumptions. Spontaneous, engaged, deeply social, and fully participating in a lifestyle of extravagance and freedom. It was a contradiction that made people question not only her private choices but the stories they had been told for years. Jones's accounts also highlight the subtleties of perception in elite circles. A casual observer might see Meghan laughing with friends and dismiss it as nothing noteworthy. But in the world of luxury yachts, each interaction is a signal, a negotiation of social capital. Her ability to navigate this environment, according to Jones, demonstrates a keen awareness of social hierarchies and dynamics. It is one thing to attend a party. It is another to be fully recognized, to participate seamlessly, to be understood as a figure of influence. Even more striking was the attention to detail in Jones's observations. He recounted Meghan's choice of attire, her interactions with both hosts and guests, and the subtle ways she positioned herself within conversations. These were not idle details. They were evidence of her engagement and comfort in an environment that is notoriously insular. According to Jones, it became clear that she was not just passing through this world. She had embraced it, understanding its rhythm, its stakes, and its unwritten rules. And yet, despite his admiration and detailed documentation, Jones was also candid about the tension and subtle rivalries present. Luxury yachts are not immune to human drama. In fact, they often amplify it. Status, perception, and influence operate at every level, and outsiders, even those as famous as Meghan, must navigate carefully. Jones observed moments of subtle negotiation, brief flashes of competition, and the intricate social dance required to maintain one's place in such an environment. He framed these moments not as scandalous, but as natural consequences of the ecosystem in which Meghan found herself, highlighting both her skill and her awareness.